I just finished reading Miracleman. I have this Omnibus edition, one of the variant covers that I thought was really cool. And let me just start off by saying I liked it, but I do think that Miracleman is pretty overrated. A lot of people say it's like one of the best comic books of all time, and I feel like that is a bit too well praised for this, because I have a few things I didn't like about it. But first, let me tell you about the premise of Miracleman. Miracleman is about this guy called Mike Morin, I think his name, and basically, he just woke up from... Okay, no. So he has amnesia, and he's a reporter just doing his everyday life with his wife, until like he keeps having these dreams of him being a superhero, and eventually he remembers this magic word that turns him into one, and when he says it, he actually turns into one. And it seems like a pretty simple premise, but like this series goes into some like really like dark places, and like it gets really gritty. But I'd just like to say that the pacing in this story is like breakneck. I feel like there's just barely any time to characterize any of the characters. I feel like there's only two characters that got a whole bunch of characterization, and that was Mrs. Morin and Winter, if you've read it. Maybe Kid Miracleman. He got some pretty decent characterization too. But the whole time when Miracleman's doing all this out-of-pocket shit, I'm just questioning like what his thought process was behind doing any of that, because we never really get to learn who he is as a person. We're more like just sitting there watching him do things, but we don't know why he's doing any of these things or what inspired him to do any of these things. And a lot of his actions just seem like, I don't know, they just seem like, why would he do that as opposed to anything else? We don't know anything about this guy or why he would choose that action over other actions, because he gets like almost no characterization. They should do more scenes where like it's his thoughts about a situation. Whenever it does say his thoughts about a certain situation, it's always just like surface level sort of things, like, or an interesting insight he had about something, but an interesting insight that anyone could have made. That doesn't really tell you who he is as a person. And it's just kind of... Yeah, my brother just walked in. Another gripe that I have with Miracleman is that it's extremely word heavy in places that it doesn't need to be. And this is minor spoilers, but there are certain scenes where it goes to the future, and where Miracleman's in like this weird alien temple, and he's doing like this inner monologue about like different Greek gods and stuff, or like mini universes. And honestly, the main story of Miracleman is interesting despite it being word heavy, but whenever those scenes comes up, it completely ruins the momentum that that story had to get me hooked, and it makes me want to stop reading right then and there, because we don't know, like, at first I was even confused to whether or not he was just envisioning this or if it was actually the future, because you don't find out till a little bit later, and even then, at the end of the book, you don't find out how he got to that future, even when you do find out it's in the future. So these scenes just seem like pointless drivel with really good artwork. I mean, the artwork in those scenes is really good, but it just seems pointless. It completely messes up the momentum of the story. Because, like, when I'm finding out about Miracleman's past, or he just, like, spoilers, but like he just killed the guy that created him or something, and then we teleport to the future, or like we're about to get dropped this major story bombshell, and then we teleport to the future, and then I have to read like 15 paragraphs worth of dialogue about how he thinks Hermes' balls itched or something. I mean, okay, it's more nuanced than that, but the dialogue's more just like flowery language about something that doesn't really matter or connect to the story at all, and completely tonally messes it up. And those scenes, personally, are my least favorite part of reading Miracleman. If I ever reread this, I'm skipping all of those because they're stupid. That being said, I did read some of Miracleman The Silver Age as it was coming out. I have 0 through 4, and I feel like that's much better. That kept my attention way better than this did. Something I have to say about the Omnibus edition in specific, If there's any other way to collect this, I suggest you do it unless you're really into extra content, because all of these pages are all just extra content. Like, this is where the story ends. All this is extra content. You get like penciling pages of almost everything. You get like all the variant covers. You get to see all that stuff and different storyboard ideas and one of the old Miracleman comics. But overall, like, it's pretty expensive to buy it in this format, so if you just want the story, I suggest buying it in another format unless you're really into extra stuff. But yeah, that's my Miracleman review. This is not for young kids, by the way. It's super mature. I would give this probably a 6.5 out of 10. I liked it, but there were some major things dragging it down for me, and I think it's majorly overrated. Anyway, that's my Miracleman review. See ya.